This is the Jocko Underground Podcast, number 23. Sitting here with Echo Charlie, as they say.
Sure.
I wanted to talk, speaking of laughing and just chuckling about stuff, I want to talk about a different kind of emotion that we sometimes feel. Mm-hmm. Frustration, anger, or annoyance. Frustration. The definition of frustration is anger or annoyance by your own inability to either achieve something or change something. That's what frustration is. Again, I've started to pay attention to, when I'm talking to clients, when I'm dealing with people, I'm starting to pay attention to what's happening to them. You know, the last one we talked about balance, and I see when I deal with people and I talk to people and I coach people through certain situations, I see them getting out of balance it trips people up, mm-hmm. or jams people up, as you know, sure. as you like to say. This is another one. People get frustrated. What's interesting about the frustration is, look, you can get frustrated with people for sure, but you can also get frustrated with inanimate objects. I know the running joke in my family is that I get frustrated with printers, number
sure.
one. Printers, number one, or whatever. But it's all kind of in jest. So, but when I see it impacting people, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it so we can look at what do we do with it, right? Mm-hmm. It's a thing. It's a real thing. We have to utilize it, actually. One thing that we realize when we get frustrated, you're not going to do any better by allowing the frustration to impact the way you're behaving. Mm-hmm. Doesn't help. The anger that you're feeling, the frustration that you're feeling, is not going to help you get any smoother. It's not going to help you get any better. It's not going to help you overcome that problem. It's not going to help you interact with that person so you can change their mind. All those things are bad. All those things are bad. So we can't allow this to impact us. We have to contend with what we've got. We got to work with it. So I would say one of the I started getting frustrated the other day.
Sure. Dang. Sorry.
Yeah. Started getting frustrated the other day. What happened was, and the reason I want to talk about this is because I started getting frustrated, and then I'm going to talk about how I overcame the frustration. I had a late night. I was up too late. I had actually decided, like, okay, you know what? It's 1:30 in the morning right now. I'm not going to get up at 4:30. I'm going to, sleep until whatever, probably 6. So I did that. So got up at 6, and which is pretty rare for me. But look, if you're going to get 3 hours of sleep, that's a negative. That's not a good move, right? Mm-hmm. You may have to at some point, but it wouldn't have been a good move in this situation. Sleep until 6, cool. So I sleep until 6:15, something like this. Get out of bed, put my workout gear on. Well, what's interesting is now at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm not alone in the house, right? My wife's downstairs. So now when I go downstairs, I'm ready to work out, but my wife's going to be saying hi, going through the morning procedures of hello. And as you and I talked about on the last Underground, we have to remember that relationships are part of the path. So, hey, my wife's kind of stoked that I'm talking to her. It's early in the morning. She's up, I'm up, So what do? I spend 15 minutes talking about whatever things, we're hanging out for a little bit. Cool. So now it's probably more than 20 minutes. So now it's like pushing 6:45, 7 o'clock, right? But now I get up to the garage gym and I chalk up. It's pull-up day, so I'm going to be doing pull-ups. I'm going to be doing muscle-ups. So I start my warm-up routine, stretching a little warm-up routine. I'm doing a couple. I hang on the bar for a little bit. Then I do like a 1 pull-up, 2 pull-ups. I'm to like my first warm-up set. So it's been 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. No, maybe not 10 minutes. It's been 5 minutes. In rolls my son to the gym. So normally I'm done. That's kind of our little unwritten rule. I've got until 7, right?
Okay.
So I'm up at 4:30. I'm in the gym by 5. I'm working out, doing whatever, stretching, get done by 7. Hope, all things normal. I'm done. He's in there, and he's not alone because he's got his little crew that he lifts with and trains with. Well, they come rolling in. They have already been working out. So they went for a run or something. They went up to the track and did sprints. So now they're back. Now they're there to finish off leg day, by the way. So, he's like, are you almost done? But he's kind of looking at me with a tilted head because he sees that I'm not dripping with sweat. So he's like, are you almost done? And I go, no, I just started. And he goes, well, he's like, can we work out first? Can we work out right now? And I'm like, what do you have? Because I figured if they're doing something, maybe they're doing kettlebells, we could kind of get it done. I could use the pull bar. He's like, squats. And I go, now, meanwhile, I knew I had some editing to do. I was going to do a quick edit on something for Echelon Front. I was like, cool. And I had text from Leif, and he's like, hey, can you take a look at this? I'm like, yep, absolutely. So I go, you know what? I'm going to go. I said, hey, go ahead. I go, how long you need? He's like, an hour. This is my son, an hour. I said, cool. So he goes and starts, he's working out. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to go take a look at this document that Leif sent me. So I go, start going through that. And all of a sudden, as I'm doing that, Jamie sends me some, hey, can you take a look at this? So I'm like, okay. So now I'm editing. Now I was just going to edit it short. Now I'm looking at a longer document. Now there's a couple sections that are highlighted for me to look at. But as I change one of them, now I got to go. Now all of a sudden I'm rewriting stuff instead of just editing. But this is where the frustration came in. So now I'm kind of pissed that I haven't worked out yet. And also I had a phone call. Not a scheduled phone call, but like an unscheduled phone call that was not an emergency, but a scenario that needed to be dealt with. So now I'm talking through this for 38 minutes or whatever. So, because I was thinking, look, I'll still be able to just jump down in the gym, but whatever. So now I realize I got more work to do. And as I realize that as I look at this document, that I'm going to have to rewrite some stuff. And it's not just an edit, but it's a rewrite. I have a moment of like, damn it. Damn it.
Yep.
I didn't sign up for this today, right? I had plans, right? And there's a frustration level.
There's a frustration.
Right?
I get
little
you.
frustration.
Yep.
This is one. It was not what I was.
Yeah.
This was not on the agenda, right? So I have this little bit of frustration creeps up. And look, I don't get frustrated very easily, but I had just a little bit because now I'm missing a workout. I was up. Was still, even though I woke up a little bit later, I still was only operating on like 4.5, 5 hours worth of sleep. So I'm frustrated about that. I'm frustrated about my son being in the gym when I should be in there. I mean, I had chalk on my hands. Like there's a certain protocol in the world that shouldn't be violated, and it was. And now this document that I was going to, you think, oh, can you take a look at this document? Cool. You're thinking 4, 7, maybe 10 minutes. Now I'm looking, I got to rewrite stuff. So the frustration level starts to escalate. And as soon as I felt that, I was like, cool, you know what? Boom, get to work. That's literally what I said. I said, you know what? Get to work. I just let that frustration let it go, man. And I got to work. That's my point, is that frustration can really end up being more of a distraction than anything else, where you start getting frustrated about something and it's making you mad. And it turns whatever you're doing worse. Makes whatever you're doing worse. You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
So, Leif Babin and I,
Sure.
we are at the muster in New York City. And again, this was our second muster. It's our first muster out in New York City. There's things happened. We failed to plan certain things. We didn't do things in the smoothest possible way. We underestimated the time it would take for things. There's a bunch of mistakes that we made that we had to deal with. And by the way, the muster starts at 4:45 in the morning for the attendees, and it ends at 6 o'clock at night, day one, and it's the same thing on day two. That's what the attendees are going to see. Right? When someone attends the muster, that's what they're going to see. They don't see what happens in the hours in between those things. But at this particular muster, the New York was the worst muster from a logistics standpoint for a whole bunch of reasons, all of which are on me because we're running the muster at echelon front, and so when things aren't right, there's only one person to blame. But that's where we're at. So one of the things we have to do is sign certificates of graduation, right? Sure. Like, hey, everyone's going. So for whatever multitude of reasons, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I think it's actually 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. We are going to go PT at 3:30 in the morning. Yeah. And Leif and I have got a stack of 850. There's 850, I think, attendees at the muster, and we've got to sign 850 of these certificates. Everyone else is asleep, so it's sometimes it makes. I know it might sound diva-ish, but if you have to sign a bunch of stuff and someone's helping you, it makes it a lot easier, right? Yeah. There's someone putting it in front of you, there's someone taking it away and passing it to Leif, and so we can get it done in 1/3 of the time. Yeah. If you have someone helping you, because think about it, the things are sticking together. There's all these issues.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we start signing these things. So I'm just signing. I'm just signing them. Boom, 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 and Leif, he starts going. Some of these are. That is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us, strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's jockounderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@jockounderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.